Hello and welcome back to the last and final video for the easy champion points setup. Um, this time it's for healers, and this is probably the most complicated one because healers have such different roles. Sometimes you're wearing Zens and martial knowledge and you're acting more as a damage dealer really. Sometimes you're just going full on heals or just full on self heals maybe if you have to kite in stuff like Vaz. So let's look at the champion points here. The green stuff will be the same as in the other two videos for the DPS and tanks that I've done before. However, since you're a healer, I suspect you did not see these videos, so I'm just going to start out from scratch again and explain how the champion point system works. Now, as you can see here, there's a couple that say minus and plus, L2, R2, that you can start with. Then there's these small yellow dots, which is things that once you've unlocked them, you will get anyway. And then there's these brighter dots, which are your slottables. As you can see up there on your bar, you've got 4 slottables for the green, blue, and red tree. So you can choose from the slottables, and it might make sense to first look at all of them to see where you actually want to go. Now, the green tree in general focuses more on earning gold, reducing the cost or prolonging the duration of drinks, not using your potions eventually, your riding speed, the cost reduction of repairing your gear. It's all quality of life stuff really. There's a couple of furnishing and homemaking things up here. Then there's resource gathering stuff here. Then there's extra things like pickpocketing or Blade of Woe if you're into the assassination skill line stuff, or fence interactions. So all of this is more or less quality of life stuff. So let's look at what we can start with. Fall damage taken, I don't really care about that as a healer. Out of sight, sneaking, I don't really care about that as a healer. These things up here are not connected, so I'm not going to start. There's no lines, see, there's no connections, so I'm not going to start there. But increasing my gold gained sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to go up here. Finding more gold in treasure chests also sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to do this. And where I want to get to, which I think are the best PvE general, like if you're playing trials and dungeons. Treasure hunter, so you get better loot out of chests. Make your food and drinks last longer. Have a chance to not even use your potions when you're activating them. And then stuff like general riding speed or the armor repair stuff. So that's definitely the way I want to go. So from the amount of gold in treasure chests, I go over here, which is the way shrine usage cost reduction. And then I can go up here, which makes my weapon enchantments decay slower, so I don't have to use as many soul gems to load them. And then I can get to my first slottable, which is treasure hunter, that costs a full 50 points. And unlock this one. Now, I'm not into the resource gathering on my PvE healer, nor into the furnishing, so I'll go down here and grab Rationeer to make my foods and drinks last longer, which will lead me to liquid efficiency. That's the one where I have a chance that my potions that I use are not even, or poisons, are not even consumed. And then this one here would be fishing, but I'm not doing that on a PvE healer. So the next thing I want to get is the general out of combat movement speed, which is Steed's Blessing. So I'm going to grab all of that. Now I've pretty much got my 4 slottables unlocked here. Steed's Blessing, Liquid Efficiency, Rationeer, and Treasure Hunter. And that means that I can just spend the remaining 199 points into wherever I want to. Now, grabbing gold seemed like a good idea. So more gold for me. More gold out of treasure chests. The weapon enchantment thing is a nice thing too, so I don't have to charge my weapon all the time. I'm going to fill out Rationeer because that's going to be one of my slottables anyway. And then I guess this one sounds nice, like repairing your armor costs less, cost a sneak, I don't really know. Probably the way shrine thingy also. Yeah, that fills it up anyway. Just because this is a passive too, but yeah, it doesn't really matter so much. If you repair your gear very often, you could swap constantly, swap out your slottables, but What sense does it make? Now that we're done with allocating our champion points and we've got our 4 chosen slottables, we're going to press triangle, and then you can see them here, and then you just slot it in the first slot, go over to the next slot by pressing the right again, and then you've got them all slotted here. So that's that. Green tree done. Now let's have a look at the red tree. The red tree pretty much is cost reduction and some kind of resource gain and damage mitigation to a degree. So you've got stuff like Hero's Vigor, which just gives you extra max health. You've got a cost reduction for roll dodging, for breaking free, for sprinting, better sprint time, for blocking, for bashing. And then you've got stuff like health recovery here, or for DPS, restore magicka if you kill an enemy, or stamina if you kill an enemy. And then stuff like your shields cost less to cast, or stuff like resurrection bonuses, or being resurrected with more resources. But generally, I think the best things you can go for here on any character is rejuvenation, because you get health, magicka, and stamina recovery, and as a healer we definitely want magicka recovery, and the other 2 resources are nice as well. Ironclad, just to have more armor, and then extra health as well. So I will start out with these here. Remember, you don't have to fill them up. You can also just put 10 points in here, or less if you have less. So you could just put 10 in here, so you have enough space, enough points left to fill up on the other stuff here that you want. I'm just going to do this now because I know that I have enough. Alright. Roll dodging is something I do quite a bit as a healer. Let's just put 10 in here and see where it leads us. I kind of want to get to the health bonus here because more health is really nice. So I'm going to go here. Just put 10 points into Mystic Tenacity, so we can get over here to Hero's Vigor, and then grab the full health bonuses. Now I also like a sprinting bonus. Let's just put a couple in here so I can run faster, and then the movement speed increase while sprinting. Hasty is also a really nice thing. Block cost reduction depends on the trial you're doing as a healer, I suppose. Bashing, can't really think of anything where healers are the ones that are designated to bash the enemy, but if you can, or if you want to, you can put some in here. What I like about the new champion point setup is that they're all pretty personal, so you can really set your character up the way you play it, or if you're progging a trial for weeks, you can set it up in the best way for that trial. Breaking free, don't really have to do that so much as a healer either. So let's see what's most important to me here right now. I need a 4th slottable anyway, because I've only got these 3 here, the shiny ones. So either of these shiny points I could choose as a 4th slottable. Now siphoning spells sounds pretty cool actually. You restore 300 magicka, or it even goes up to 1500 when you kill an enemy. Then again, I do not really kill that many enemies as a healer, so I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it. You could use it though. Bastion would increase the effectiveness of your damage shields, but most of the time I don't even have a shield slotted on my healer, to be honest, because I'll just heal myself and block. So the thing that seems to make the most sense to me would probably be siphoning spells, or down here the expert evasion, which just gives me a free roll dodge. And I do that a lot as a healer, really, especially in dungeons, and then also in some trials. So I'm just going to fill this one up here and use this as my 4th slottable. But as I said before, this is really a matter of your own choice, or your playstyle, or the content you're doing. Now I've got 128 points left. I've got my full health bonus. I've got my 4 slottables. So I can just adjust the rest of the points to the playstyle that I have. There's no point in getting another slottable at the moment, really, with the amount of CP I have, because I've already got my chosen 4. So I think I'll just put a couple more into the sprinter thing and the movement speed, because I like to get around fast. Then maybe get a bit of block cost reduction here. The bashing isn't too important to me really, because I don't really bash much as a healer. I do roll dodge a bit though. I think 30 and 50 here works fine, because this gives me a cost reduction, and this gives me a free roll dodge every 30 seconds anyway, so that's fine enough with me. Might put maybe a little bit into the break free here, just in case I have to. Costs a little bit less. But generally I think I'll just go with the movement speed, because that seems to be the most, seems to make the most sense to me. Then I'll put a couple more into here to reduce the duration of elemental status effects applied to me. And maybe a bit more into the blocking here, because there are a couple trials where you have to block regularly. So that seems to make sense. Yeah, maybe a bit more into the break free. As you can see, really, the things that are non-slottables, if you're at around 1200 CP, you can pretty much get a lot of that stuff and make it work really nicely. Yeah, let's just put the other two in here. Now, putting my 4 slottables on the bar by pressing triangle and moving over to the next dot, and then that's that. Now the blue tree is a bit more difficult for healers. Generally, this is the DPS stuff, more single target damage, more damage over time, more area of effect damage. This is also DPS stuff, more crit damage when flanking, more general crit damage, Occult Overlord for oblivion damage, weapon and spell damage stuff. Then this down here is more of the tanking things, so reduced damage from area of effect, damage over time, single target attacks, more resistances when you're using a Shield of Frost stuff. And this over here is where we get into the healer stuff, so more weapon and spell damage to my healing abilities, more healing done in area of effect heals, in heals over time, and single target heals, that kind of stuff. Or blessed, you know, blessed from the old champion point system, just more healing done in general. Then precision, you've got the crit chance, but heals can crit, so it makes sense to put points in there. And then here you've got your stamina and magicka bonus in general. So what we're going to start out with, oh yeah, also there's these 2 purple things that you can open up actually. So over here you've got the penetration, and then the magicka tree that leads to the magicka weapon and spell damage, and then the stamina tree that leads to the stamina weapon and spell damage. And this one is more recovery and mitigation stuff, so more healing taken and less damage taken from magical attacks, from martial attacks, and from general non-player attacks. I'm going to start out with Eldritch Insight here. Remember, you don't have to put the full 40 in, you can also just put 10 in and then see where it takes you, what it opens up for you. So let's go over to the healing tree. I'm definitely going to get the full bless to get the 4% healing bonus. I want to increase my healing done by area of effect heals, also by single target heals, and also by healing over time effects. So that is already 3 slottables here that I've chosen. Now remember, if you are a healer that uses Sense and Martial Knowledge a lot, you might want to go for this here, Thaumaturge. Increases your damage done with damage over time effects, because you're going to be putting dots over dots over dots on the enemy. So you might have to open up that tree by putting a couple points into the penetration, and then you can get up here and put a couple more in there. However, I'm not doing that at the moment, because that will be a special setup. And I'm not using ZenZMK right now, so I'm just going for the general healing stuff. Now we've got Rejuvenator here, which sounds like a really cool 4th slottable for me. I've already got more healing done with area of effect, damage over time, and single target heals. And this one will just grant me weapon and spell damage to my healing abilities. So I think this is what I'm going to choose for just being the general healer that really focuses on healing. So I've got my 4 slottables now, and I've got 149 points left. Let's see what I want to do with those. Probably put a little bit in. No, actually, I want to get precision filled up, because as I said before, heals can crit. So the more crit chance for my heals, the better. Then we've got piercing. We don't really need much penetration. But what I want to get to is the Magicka tree for Flawless Ritual. Increases the chance to apply a magical status effect by 30%. So this seems like a good thing, because I can put magical status effects on targets. And then eventually War Mage, which would give me some spell damage to magical attacks, but I don't really do a lot of damage as a healer. I don't really have a lot of Flame Frost or shock damage. I do have some magic damage on the Templar here, but this would cost me 30 points for 100 spell damage bonus, sort of, just so my my spear shards do a little more damage. Maybe it might be worth it, as I said before, if you're running Zen's MK, because then you're actually doing a lot of damage. But for my setup right now, I don't think it's worth it. Alright, I don't really need any of this stuff here either. So I think I'll just go into this tree and make myself a little bulkier. Get some healing taken, maybe. Maybe not all the 40. That's really, as I said before, now this most of this then comes down to your personal preference. If you want to have a bit more healing done, and if you want to reduce your damage a little bit from non-player attacks, which is all the PvE monsters, then yeah, put the points in there. Other than that, we've already got the Magicka bonus, or maybe you do the kiting in Vas, and you want to have a bit more stamina, so you can roll dodge more often and block more often if you get the poison cone on you and stuff like that. So maybe a little bit into stamina would be nice as well. But generally for me, that's about it. I want these 4 slottables up here, the ones I've chosen, and definitely Blessed and the Magicka bonus. And I definitely wanted the Flawless Ritual in there. And I guess from now on, I'm really just gonna focus putting points into here, and then fill this up next, so that when I actually do use Sens and MK, I can simply slot my or swap my slottables around, as you can see here. No, actually not, because it takes 10 points to unlock, and I've just put 9 in, so you can't see that here. Alright, triangle again. That's our 4 slottables. We'll slot them, and we're done with the CP setup. Okay, I hope that that really made sense. Just a really short recap, because I know that was a lot of information. In the green tree, that's all just quality of life stuff. This is about making money. This is about not using your foods and potions so much. This is about riding or general movement speed out of combat. This is about loot. This is about crafting. This is about resource gathering. This is about special stuff like fence interactions and the assassination skill line. Then in the red tree, it's all about cost reduction and extra health and a bit of damage mitigation. So stamina, magicka, recovery, more armor, more health. In the middle here, more health again. And then cost reduction to roll dodging, to breaking free, to sprinting, sprint speed, to blocking, to bashing, all that kind of stuff. And then in the blue tree, you've got your DPS stuff, which can also be nice for healers up here. You've got some more extra DPS and crit stuff on the head. You've got all the healing stuff on the staff, and all the tanking stuff down here. And your general magicka and stamina bonuses here with Tireless Discipline and Eldritch Insight, and your crit bonus with Precision. And then you can open these things up for the penetration, and then the mage tree or the stamina tree. And you can open this one up for more recovery, and also for more damage mitigation from magic and non-player and martial damage. I hope that made a bit of sense. So maybe that made the whole thing a little bit clearer. the champion point system is actually really nice because you can really choose what you want and which bonuses you would like to fit your playstyle more. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fan of it now. I think it's really well done. And yeah, I hope that helped. I'll see you next time.